It is a corner chat, Let's Talk Business with Mr. Daniel Steinman. A warm welcome to everyone tuned in right now, and a warm welcome to, of course, our host for the day, as always, Mr. Daniel Steinman.
Thank you, Elsa B.
I am also your hostess, Elsa B. Tivignani, and today we are talking about oil and gas onshore.
Is there oil on shore? Black sand.
So we're going to talk about, what the benefits are for Namibia, but also for the normal person out there. How do you, as a Namibian citizen, will be able, or how will you be able to also benefit or be part of, the chain when it comes to oil and gas in Namibia?
Elsa B, very good question. Very good topic. As always, we need a little bit of history and a little bit of perspective.
Yes.
Where does it all fit in, and how does it all fit together? Now, I'm very fond of telling my little story where I was in Gert Hanekom's office about 1991, 92, maybe 1993. I can't remember exactly. But it was just after the Ministry of Mines then surveyed the exploration blocks. So it was all very primitive and very undeveloped and very, I wouldn't say wishy-washy, but it was very vague. You must remember, in those years we also did not have the so-called baseline survey. And I think I've explained to you this weird thing. The moment you start talking about the ocean, you're dealing with something that never stands still. As in absolutely never, not for 1 second. So we've come a long way from there. What I remember is that when I was in his office, he was the Minister of Finance then, there was a row of small bottles on his shelf, maybe 20, 25 small bottles. And each one had in it what looked like black mud. And he opened one of them, and inside was a sticky type of goo, which I had no clue what it was. And then he said to me, "This is oil, or at least rock or mud bearing oil." And I said, "No, Mr. Minister, you must be kidding." And he said, "Yes." And if I remember correctly, it was either BP or Shell, one of the two European majors who had the first results. And then he told me, he said, they will do nothing with it. They will put a radioactive beacon on that hole, that well, and they will forget about it for 30 years until they need it. Now stop me if I've already told you the story, but it is so revelationary, because that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
For 30 years there was no movement, and then suddenly in the Orange Basin we started getting, from 2022, one after the other good announcement. They've hit some good prospects. There's very good indications. And you remember 3 years ago we had all these fantastic, over-the-top, unbelievable figures thrown around, so 8 billion barrels a day and blah, blah, blah. Now, there's a good expression in Afrikaans that you can do with somebody. If he can explain to you, how do you determine the value or the strength of a resource from a single hole, if you just drill one well. But it's on record that I immediately from the beginning said, whoa, stop. Put on the brakes. It doesn't happen like that, We're not going to start exporting oil by Christmas. So, the whole point of this is that the exploration side, the interesting side, the exciting side, is taking place out there on the high seas. That's 180 kilometers away from a place like Lüderitz. And Lüderitz is not a very big town, as you know yourself. So the whole focus of my talk with you today is that what's going to happen onshore. And it's more than what's going to happen, is what needs to happen onshore for that exciting part, the actual discovery of the oil in the rock bed of the sea bottom, until we get to that stage where we can start what they say, you start pumping oil. We are still very far from pumping oil.
Yeah.
We are still in the assessment phase. So let's look at, you asked me what benefit will it be for Namibia, and I am 100% convinced that long before we see the benefit for the broader economy in the sense of levies and taxes, we are going to see it in the onshore development. And when we come back, I want to give you an idea. I want to give you a glimpse into the future. What exactly does this onshore development entail? Because it's massive. It's something beyond anything that we can imagine.
Can't wait to hear that.